Tremors rocked her from head to toe, as her shaky fingers outlined the perfect shape of his lips, up the bridge of his nose, and over his strong brow.
"We have to go before that Vorg comes back with reinforcements."
Castle nudged her shoulder.
"Have you learned a lesson in all this?"
She swallowed burning tears. "You don't have a heart, do you? You always made Max train harder, fight harder, and patrol more. And now you're acting like he's nothing. He's just dead. Useless to you now."
"My God, girl."
Castle's feet shifted on gravelly stones.
"It's a tragedy to lose one of our own, but if you plan on staying in the program, you need to be prepared for the worst."
"It can't get any worse than this." Castle moored his hands under her armpits and winched her to her feet.
"We've got to go."
"What about Max?" Her words clawed over the lump in her throat as she watched Max's hair feathering across his face like a pall. "We can't leave him here. You can carry him, right?"
"I already sent a message to Carter to come for him."
"I'm not leaving Max alone." Daring rang in her tone. "I'll wait here till Carter shows." An exasperated exhale drifted from Castle's mouth.
"No need."
He knelt and effortlessly slung Max's limp body over his shoulders. Standing in the miserable alley, she prayed it was all a bad dream. Yet perceiving his dangling, lifeless body, she repressed a sob. It seemed like a natural reflex to hold Max's hand, so calloused, resilient, and in life, driven. It had only been earlier that morning during their training session when his hands had cupped her face in a flirty attempt to kiss her. Amused, she'd thwarted his frisky come-on by grasping his wrist and tangling his arm behind his back. He'd laughed outright. More than ever, she wanted a reboot.
"Take my arm,"
Castle said. With one hand holding on to Max, she slipped the other arm around Castle. They teleported inside the mansion's foyer, near the round antique table embellished with a vase of fresh-cut flowers from the garden. The final hurrah before the first frost. Her legs wobbled like jelly. Teleportation always made her queasy, and now, more than ever, she thought she was going to puke. Since evening had descended, insipid light spilled from the sconces into the foyer's two-story paneled walls, giving it a cozy feel. But tonight, the coziness was futile. Carter Lane stood at attention beside a bespoke beveled mirror, waiting for them. Carter was the butler, the chauffeur, the do-it-all manservant, and their teacher of mathematics and history. Of medium height, he wore his typical uniform of a black suit and white button-down shirt, not a strand out of place of his ashy brown hair. His wife Abigail, the housekeeper, laundress, chef, and teacher of English and biology, flanked his side. Unlike Carter, staid and formal in his bearing, Abigail was talkative and friendly. She'd been Rogan's mother figure since their arrival as young children. Tears spilled from her grief-stricken eyes as she covered her mouth, allaying her sobs.
"Abigail, that's enough."
Carter issued his wife a mild rebuke.
"You're upsetting Rogan."
He advanced toward Castle.
"May I be of service, sir?" "Rogan, go to your room," Castle ordered. "Get cleaned up and come to the library in an hour."
"What are you going to do with Max?"
"We'll discuss it later, but now."
His tone hardened. She desired to see Max, to say goodbye, but Castle wasn't in the mood for backtalk. Stifling an ambush of blubbering, she squeezed Max's hand one last time and raced up the wide staircase. She reached the third story, wheezing, chest aching. She should have taken the elevator, but the exertion aided in her deluge of emotions. Because of her stupidity and obstinate all-around nature, Max was dead.